the got it button.
I consent.
Adam, do we need to do like cold opening SNL for you talking about the Colts?
Yes.
Yeah, you might have to.
Yeah.
This is I got a lot of my explosion out last night, but I still got some fire.
I still haven't, so I'm gonna probably have another Broncos rant like last week.
I still have some fire in me, so
I mean, I wasn't happy about what I was watching. I wouldn't describe my reaction as an explosion, though.
Oh shoot. Put a slash in there on accident. Man, I can't do anything. All right. We all ready to go? Okay. Welcome back to Around the Board show with SMC, guys. I'm here today with Dallas, Rishi, one of our brand new members, Luke, and Adam. I just promised that this game we will not kick field goals. Too soon?
Man.
Okay. Too soon. No field goal kicking here. All righty. So today we have quite a bit of a slate here. We got a lot to talk about in the NFL. As we know, it's been a hectic 4 full weeks / 5 in a fifth. And then we're going to go over a couple teams who we think should push for the playoffs and who should tank to get a good draft pick. And then we're going to go over some college football prospect watch, because as you all know, and we all love, teams are going to have to start deciding, do they want to suck and go get a good player, or, are they going to push to beat those teams? Clearly not the Indianapolis Colts, though. Sorry, once again, I got to get it out. And then right now, currently, we do have the MLB Playoffs starting today with the Rays and Guardians currently on. Dallas, you can fill us in on the score of it once it's over. And then we are going to pick everybody's World Series picks. So we're going to pick an AL team and an NL team, which we think will get to the World Series. I will hold these to you guys for the rest of it. And then we'll recap some hot takes and go over some new ones. So our first section today is, of course, the most lovely NFL game ever consumed on Amazon Prime. The Indianapolis Colts beating the Broncos 12-9 in an overtime win. Also, we do have David Flowers here. Oh boy, we got a full boat right now for some NFL guys. So who wants to lead off about the Colts? I think Adam looks ready to.
Adam's got to lead us off here.
I would like to start off by saying that was the worst football game I think I've ever watched in my entire life. That was horrible. Is there a positive? Well, Stephon Gilmore is a dog. He's the dog in him. Thank God that our defense saved us, because holy Matt Ryan in that offensive line. I have to say something about number 79. I already forget his name.
Bernard
Raymond. I feel so bad for him. He hasn't played with this offensive line for a single snap. He's a rookie, and we throw him into primetime Thursday night football, and he was absolutely not ready for it. Absolutely not ready. As well as the rest of the offensive line. I think Frank Reich, it looks like he's just trying to figure something out because he has no idea what he's doing. So he just was like, let's just mix everybody up. They played there in college. Sure, let's throw them in. Why not? Maybe it'll work this time. Yeah, no, it didn't. Nothing worked. Matt Ryan, terrible game again. But we won. Did we deserve it? Absolutely not. Both teams deserve to lose today. It's just terrible. Everything is terrible. It's just bad. Like on offense, it just doesn't work. Every time we start doing something right, I know in my heart we're going to mess it up. I can feel it coming. I just know we're not going to score. I can feel it every single time. And it's not even like I can't. You just know that something bad is going to happen. This team just cannot get any consistency. I think we're the lowest scoring team, or is that still the Broncos?
It's the Colts at like 13.5.
13.5 points a game.
After last night, the Broncos could have took it. I don't know. It's close.
Like 13.5 points a game. Imagine spending all your money and time, spending money buying tickets, or the Colts fans that flew down to Denver to watch that. The Colts fans who flew down to Jacksonville to watch that, or spend their time watching that while they could be doing anything else. We can't even, we get no interceptions. We barely get any sacks. We don't score hardly ever. There's nothing to celebrate. What is there to look forward to watch the Colts? Watch us, sometimes Jonathan Taylor can get an 8-yard run every once in a while. Is that the whole point of watching the Colts? It's just embarrassing. How we are third right now. We are third place. We're in the playoffs right now. I know that the rest of the teams haven't played, so that's going to change. But I thought that the NFL was getting better with parity. I'm going to have to agree with Tom Brady here. There's a lot of bad football. If the Colts are third in the AFC, I mean, we need more talent in the NFL. We are dry. Because that is we are out of talent. It's over. There's too many injuries. There's little talent. I do have to, send my thoughts out to Naheem Hines. Feel terrible for him getting a concussion about 2 minutes into the game. And, I also started him in fantasy. So that was a great pick by me. But it's just, I don't even want to talk about the Broncos. I have a feeling you guys are going to talk about the Broncos plenty. I can't believe we won this game. It's terrible. Nothing got better. Everything got worse. And I am really, really scared to play Jacksonville next week. I am very scared to play Jacksonville next week. So, yeah, that's enough for me ranting. You guys can talk about how shit the Broncos are.
All right, we're gonna tail over. It's between Luke or David. You guys can play rock, paper, scissors, but we've heard a lot from me, Rishi, and Dallas over the past few weeks. So someone fire away.
I'll just say,
Go ahead.
As bad as it is in Indianapolis, at least we're not Denver, right? That's terrible. I mean, Matt Ryan, yeah, it's not Russell Wilson though. I mean, that situation is terrible. So at least we're not them. At least we won. It seems like we lost. We somehow won. We'll take it. Take the positives.
For me,
That's all I got. Yeah, you can go.
For me, I'm a diehard Colts fan, but this season it's just like after thinking about it some more this morning, it's just like I don't really care if they win now. I'll be happy if they lose. They need to find a franchise quarterback in the draft next year. So this year kind of feels a little bit more. It feels kind of more freeing with no expectations now that they're so bad. But you never want to have that as an NFL fan. But I heard on the sports radio today on Kevin McQuarrie, I thought they made a really good point. They got to stop kicking the can down the road with washed up veteran quarterbacks and make a play for a young guy. And this is the draft to do it. So yeah, it didn't even feel like a win really. It's just what the hell am I doing with my life watching 3 hours of that nonsense? But again, you think we have problems? Denver is even more screwed than us right now after giving all that up for Russell Wilson, man. And then they couldn't even score on us, man. But I think, though, that at the end of the year, hopefully Reich is gone. Maybe Valor, too. I see it as a 50-50 split, but it's just the lack of preparedness and the consistency, as Adam said, just over and over and over again. It's just how can you be an NFL coach, even in the way last year ended, and have your guys come out like this? Just McDonald's worker level, man. Get out of here. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the picture of Shaq with his broken nose, may he heal up too. That just sums up the season. One picture, just gross. But Yeah, we'll see.
As a lifelong Lions fan, I have a message for Colts fans and Broncos fans. I know you see yourself in the playoff picture right now. Just give up hope. It makes it's a lot easier. Go put a future on the Eagles or something and buy a Sam Ellinger jersey and just know, just don't expect to win any games here on out, and it'll be a lot easier.
I'll let Alex go, man. I know he wants to talk about the Broncos so bad, so I'll let you go.
There's a saying in college basketball. It's called one and done. It now may apply to Nathaniel Hackett. He might be the first one and done in the NFL because good God, man. I could put a 10-year-old out there that plays Madden, and he could run the ball on 4th and 1. I mean, it's just dumb mistake after dumb mistake after dumb mistake. And this is where I think nobody has realized this. The new ownership for the Denver Broncos did not bring in Nathaniel Hackett, did not bring in Russell Wilson. So you think when next week, when everyone's telling them to get rid of them, they're going to be like, no, we brought them in. They're our guys. No, they're not their guys. They can be gone. We'll fish them away, go send them off to another team. I mean, somebody would take Russell Wilson back now. I mean, Carolina can't even figure out who they're going to play at quarterback each week. So they'd take Russell Wilson in a heartbeat for like every good player they had on their roster. To the defensive side, the Broncos are still a top 5 defense in expected points added and defensive value over average. DVOA is that, right? Defensive value over average, right?
Yeah, EPA, DVOA. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, EPA, DVOA. They're still a top 5 defense. They're still really good. They're playing a bunch of random scrubs like Browning and Alex Highsmith, and they're still absolutely dominating the Colts. Matthew Ryan, or Matt, I'm going to call him Matthew Ryan today. I'm going to use his full legal name. Matthew Ryan just decides yesterday that he's not going to look for a second safety ever. He just lets safeties get spun down into the box and get picked off twice by the exact same guy. Like not even like he threw it to a corner. He threw it to the same safety, literally on the same route. To the point, no team deserved to win this game. It should have just been a tie. They both suck enough. The fact that the Broncos have Russell Wilson for another 5 years under contract. If you're a Broncos fan, there's no light at the end of this tunnel. Like, you either got to cut your losses and suck again, or let's ride Broncos country, because there's not been a lot of riding. You fell off the horse after week 1. I mean, you got kicked off the horse. I mean, Geno Smith kicked you in the face as he rode away, and then you kind of got back on the horse because Jimmy G, somehow loses that game. You beat Houston, which, like, whoop-de-doo. You beat literally the worst team in the NFL currently. And then you lose in a game of field goals. Like, the one thing that you practice for is to kick field goals, but you also want to score touchdowns. I saw some guy bet $85 on a touchdown being scored there being one touchdown in the game last night. His bet was nullified on FanDuel. They felt that bad for him. So that guy won $85 back. I don't know what to say. Just, I don't know. Don't run pass plays on like the 4-yard line. Did we not learn anything from Pete Carroll? I mean, seriously. I saw the funny meme today that Malcolm Butler was somehow photoshopped into the picture, and people were saying that Russ looked over and saw Malcolm Butler and didn't want to throw the ball to KJ Hamler. But yeah, this kind of deserves the Ken Dorsey throwing your headset, banging on the desk from both teams. So terrible game, terrible implications. I did have a question that who is on the hotter seat? Both of the seats of the coaches, their pants are currently on fire. There's nothing, no other way to say it. They're both possibly going to be fired by the end of the season, undoubtedly. Also, GM wise, the Broncos GM should be okay. The Colts GM, like who said it was a 50-50 toss-up if he should get fired? Was it David?
Yes.
Okay, it is a 50-50 toss-up. I'm kind of leaning like 60-40 that he should be fired, but Tank can go get a draft pick.
Only thing I have to say with the Broncos is I don't understand how you cannot come up with some sort of offense with the weapons that they have. Like Russell Wilson is playing so bad. You have Cortland Sutton, you have Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler is healthy now and will be.
You have Melvin Gordon. Just run the ball.
Melvin Gordon is a good running back. I don't care about fumbles and all that stuff. People saying he lost 3 fumbles last week. He only lost 1 of them. So Melvin Gordon is a good back. Obviously, losing Javonte Williams to a torn ACL is going to hurt, but their running backs looked decent enough last night. I mean, the worst red zone offense in the league. I mean, when you get down the red zone, you might as well run the ball every single play for the Broncos because they have no passing offense down there. It blows my mind with the talent that they have that they cannot put a touchdown on the board from 10 yards, 5 yards, even 1 yard away from the end zone.
That is valid. So have we cleansed all our grievances from this game, or are some of us still gonna go put our head in a pillow and scream for a little bit? Because I'm still in the put my head in a pillow and scream mode.
Oh, I'm still there.
But we're gonna pivot off that. We do have some big questions that are currently going on in the NFL. A lot of things have changed over the past week and a half. As
What's so funny?
One of these doesn't look like the other.
I don't know what you're talking about. We might have to fast forward a few months.
I want to open up with there is currently the only rookie that was a quarterback drafted in the first round starting this week in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his name is Kenny Pickett. Are we on the Kenny Pickett hype train? Are we off the train? Were we never even on the train? Did it never leave the station? I mean, where are we feeling in this should he start conversation?
This feels like Bernard or Ryman, but obviously Kenny Pickett doesn't play tackle, but this is just like it's like an awful way to ruin his confidence off the bat going up against Buffalo and all these good teams. But we'll see how mentally prepared he is. But it doesn't, from my personal opinion, it doesn't look good for him to start off. I think he probably has the skill set and the talent, but that schedule, man, is really brutal for your first couple of games.
And the schedule Huncho is currently referring to is they play at the Bills this week. They play the Buccaneers at home next week. They play the 3-1 Dolphins the week after on the road. And then they go to the 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles on the road. Why start a rookie quarterback in this 4-game stretch? I don't know. Why not start Mitchell Trubisky and just let him get absolutely mauled? Or like split their halves and let Mitchell Trubisky start the first half and let Kenny Pickett come in the second half so that he maybe, I don't know, doesn't get killed in the first 10 seconds of the game. But I got a lot to say. So somebody else talk about it. There's just a lot of.
I gotta say, you throw him in now, I think it means you're pulling the plug on the whole season. I think you might as well fold the whole season. You throw him in against 4. That's a really tough schedule for a rookie quarterback just coming in. If he started the first few weeks, then you'd give him a little bit of slack and say it's just a schedule ball. But you throw him in straight away to these amazing defenses. The Bills straight away, best front 7 in the league so far this year. They're right up there at the top. I mean, basically solidifying, saying you're going to throw in the towel in the season and you just want him to try his best and learn a little bit of football and get prepared for next season and get a draft pick of somewhere. Their defense is still really good. I don't draft the O-line is their probably most needs, I would say, on the offensive side of the football, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough schedule to throw him into, but I've always been on the I've always been on the bandwagon of why not? Like, why not throw Kenny Pickett in at least at some point into the season? Like, if you're playing Mitchell Trubisky, you're the Steelers. I know it's kind of a throw for the season, but did you really have any expectations anyway to do much? Probably not. I didn't have any expectations for the Steelers myself. I don't see why you don't. If you draft, I mean, you have Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, is it really worth like not making the playoffs with Mitchell Trubisky every game, not knowing what your rookie can do the whole time? I mean, it's not like he's learning under Aaron Rodgers. Okay, it's not like he's learning under Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. So I actually have no problem with it. I think that I think it might be the smart decision. It may be a bit too early. I thought maybe you could have Mitchell in there to play really badly against those good defenses, and then it would make a lot more sense. So they're taking a little bit more of a risk. I do agree there, but I think why not? I mean, I don't see any reason of why you shouldn't play him.
I think so. With Mitch Trubisky, it feels like that's a team that's in the middle of the conference in the standings or whatever. And so it's like that's really not where you want to end up. You either want to end up as a team in the playoffs or a team that's going to have a good pick. And so I don't know. I think Kenny Pickett kind of does that for them. It's like either he plays well and maybe they fight for a wild card spot or fight for that division, or it's like, all right, we're rebuilding a little bit.
Yeah. So obviously, the longer you wait, probably the better case for him. But there's kind of like no pressure. Adam kind of said that. I agree with that. Like, if he sucks, he sucks. Who cares? It's kind of a scrap season anyway, so might as well just throw him in. Like, whatever happens, happens. As long as he doesn't die, I think he's fine.
That is good. That we don't want him to die.
No, that would not be good.
I have one last point to cover over today. I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers need to retool their offense. And to a lot of even my roommate's knowledge, he thinks the Steelers are the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, they're not. Their offense consists of Deontay Johnson, who is currently like the only wide receiver whose job is not to literally run down the field, jump, and hope he catches the ball. That is left to currently Chase Claypool and George Pickens. Pat Freiermuth's decent. I'm going to give it to him. He's a pretty like solid tight end, like Greg Olsen build almost, like just kind of like there, catches the ball, does his job. Najee just randomly doesn't get snaps. We can explain the fact that they just continue not to work the run game very well. It might be the fact that their offensive line is like 20 years past its prime. They're still living in like the 2000s age. They literally this year when they drafted Kenny Pickett, I'm pretty sure pulled out the 2004 Ben Roethlisberger scouting tape and compared it to Kenny Pickett's and said, well, might as well as pick him. He looks the exact same. So the Steelers need to revitalize. And I think Tomlin needs to be at the head of that. And maybe an offensive coordinator change is needed. Their defense has been good. So if they tank, just go draft an offensive line at this point. Like, just leave some of these like key pieces in, but like move a few pieces out, but also don't screw up and do it like how the Colts do it, where they just like decide to shift the entire offensive line on like a random Wednesday. So yeah, just do that. So now we're on past that point. We are on to, I think this question is probably one of the best questions we have, gentlemen. Is the NFC West race closer than we thought? I just want this to be noted. If Seattle were to win and the Cardinals and the Rams lose, the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers would lead the division if they both won this weekend. The 49ers would be ahead of the Seahawks due to the tiebreaker in which the Seahawks lost. Who would have imagined that after 4 weeks or 4.1 weeks of the NFL?
Give Geno his respects. Just playing.
No, let Geno cook. That man has. Geno Smith is 10.1 points above expected completion rating on next gen stats. The next closest is Josh Allen at 1.5. That's like a century gap between those two. Like this is, I don't know what they gave Geno before the season, but give it to like every other like sad mid-tier quarterback, and goodness gracious, we're gonna start winning we're gonna see Super Bowls right and left.
They wrote him off.
Yeah, they wrote him off. He didn't write back.
He wrote back. But where do we feel on the NFC West race is where I'm really going with this conversation.
I'll start us off here. If I remember correctly, on when we did the playoff predictions show,
we had neither of these teams making the playoffs. I want that to be noted. Neither the wild card nor the winning the division.
Me personally, I had 3 teams out of this division in the playoffs. So I'm not surprised that this division is this close. I think it was going to be close from the jump. I didn't think Seattle would be in the race. Now I'll give that. But I thought the Niners and the Rams would be in there. Now that Jimmy G's back for the Niners, I think it's even going to be tighter than originally thought. I think it's going to come down to the last week of the season. The Cardinals haven't looked that great, but somehow they're still in the race, and they could be in it if they could figure it out. But I still think it's going to be
this week, though. I
still think it's Rams Niners at the end. I think it's going to be really close. It's going to come down to last week.
The Niners are taking the division. I mean, I'll give the Cardinals a shot at it. The Rams offense is not good enough. And I don't know. I'm not going to be the guy who picks Seattle. So I think the 49ers win it, but Jimmy G stinks. Jimmy G is not good.
You don't have to be good in that Kyle Shanahan offense. You just have to turn around and hand the ball off. That's all and throw the ball to Deebo Samuel. Those are the only 2 things you need to know how to do. You don't have to know how to do anything else.
Unfortunately, he doesn't really do that second one as good as he should be.
No, I will agree with that.
I mean, yeah, this is San Francisco's all day long. I think they seem to I think they have they're the only team in this division with a positive net points. They're the only team in this division with positive. The next is the Arizona Cardinals at -15. The Rams are at -24, and the Seahawks are at -20, and the 49ers are at +25. So, I mean, they're also the second lowest scoring in this division, but they have way far and above the least points scored against them. They are an extremely good defense. And I said that they were just going to ride that all the way. I'm pretty sure they were my pick to go to the Super Bowl. So, I got to back them. And their defense is just too good. I think that they'll be able to hold off in these, against the Seahawks, against the Cardinals. I think they'll win those division games because their defense is just too good. It's too strong. Even with Jimmy G, I don't rate Jimmy G at all. I think he's terrible. I've always thought he was awful. But, hey, he's gotten them to high places before, so it's not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams are struggling. I think they'll start to get better in the 49. It will be them and the 49ers. They'll start to pull away pretty soon. I don't have the most confidence in Geno Smith. Yeah, they'll start to pull away, and it will be close, but the Rams and the 49ers will be at top.
I just want to say superstar of my season so far has been the 49ers defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans. Please come to Indianapolis and help us. I'm begging you. We're being held hostage by Frank Reich. We need somebody to save us. Please come help us. That's all I have to say. So we're gonna skip on past that unless, David, you have anything?
Well, obviously still like 5 weeks and about to be 5 weeks in the year, but yeah, like I agree with what most of you guys said. Can't trust Jimmy G, but that defense is legit. And, I honestly haven't watched the Rams offense too much. I just get the fantasy points from Cup still, so very appreciative of that. With the Cardinals, I feel like it's just too much internal conflict with Kyler and Cliff. Like I feel like that relationship will probably come to a split at some point for the way like they just can't be consistent either. And then the Seahawks, obviously is a great story, and I guess he works well with the coaches, but we'll see, man.
That is fair. I'm still saying it. Pete Carroll does deserve to be a GOAT all-time coach. You've seen how bad Russell Wilson is with the Broncos. How did he take this man to 2 Super Bowls? That is a question that we may never get the answer to. All righty, gentlemen. So we're going to skip on. I wanted to go over the Dak situation. Does anyone feel like revisiting the Dak situation? Or are we all just content on the fact that Cooper Rush is just playing really good and that no matter what happens when Dak comes back, he's going to play? I mean, it's not like Cooper Rush isn't going to take over the world real quick. Like,
I wanted to ask the group, like in their opinion, when Dak does come back, are you worried about the offensive line being able to protect him?
I'm worried about the offense in general. The Cowboys' current ongoing problem is the fact they handcuffed themselves to such an offense with Dak Prescott. It's not very fluid, like creative. It's very like cut and dry, very simple stuff. But now we've had Cooper Rush in for 4 weeks of the NFL season, and their offense has somehow taken these handcuffs off, thrown them out the car window, and said, just do whatever. They're designing plays, they're creating bootlegs, they're playing out of play action, they're doing all these fun things. And defenses actually have to respect them now. Like when last year, when the first 5 weeks, we were all talking about how the Cowboys were so amazing because they were so creative and Kellen Moore was doing all this thing. And then they hit they hit an iceberg in like the middle of, like if you're on a ship, they hit an iceberg head on in the middle of the season and then somehow flipped it around, made it in the playoffs, and then lost to the 49ers. They're just not creative. And I'm more worried that when Dak comes back, that it's going to be a very stale offense and they're just going to get worse somehow. So please help a brother out and help Dak Prescott out.
No one else had any opinions on the Cowboys?
No Cowboys opinions. All right. That's all good.
I'm gonna be honest. I stopped watching them after week 1. You guys have been watching the Cowboys? That week 1 was traumatizing.
Nope.
So to continue on, gentlemen, we have another NFC East team. Currently the only undefeated team. And if I recall from recent memory, maybe my Super Bowl favorite, the Philadelphia Eagles, riding high, flying higher than ever before, at the only undefeated team at 4-0 right now in the NFL. And my goodness, did they beat that Jacksonville team down? What's the temperature in the room for the Eagles? Are we all set on Super Bowl here, or are some still naysayers?
I think, I also picked the Eagles in the Super Bowl in the playoff show. So I'm with you, Alex. I'm not going to back away from my picks. So fly, Eagles, fly.
Go Birds. Go Birds.
Like they may have a little bit of bust potential, but otherwise their team is really built pretty well to compete. Obviously with AJ Brown coming over and Jalen Hurts, but making big steps as a quarterback.
Who's gonna hate on the Eagles? One of you three's got to do
I
it.
think they're good. I don't think they're Super Bowl good. Not yet.
That's what I was waiting for, Luke. That's what I was waiting for.
I mean, they're
don't
they're,
know.
they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
I think that they could do something in the playoffs. I mean, they don't have Jalen Hurts doesn't have any playoff experience, so it'll be interesting.
Yes, he does. He played last year.
One game.
Oh wait, he played last year.
One game.
Yeah, they got
one game.
blown out by the
They
Buccaneers.
got blown out, but one
Oh
game.
well, that's even better. They got blown out, But Lamar Jackson's first game was terrible. Well, his first playoff game was bad. I actually remember that. I still think that was the worst performance by a quarterback I've ever seen. Was Lamar Jackson's first playoff game, because I really wanted Joe Flacco to come in. I was one of those people. I was like, put Flacco in, please. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think they'll take another step in the right direction. I think they'll win a playoff game this year, definitely. I think they'll get there and win one. I don't know about much further than that.
The Eagles are probably one of two teams in the league that have an offense at the top of the league and a defense at the top of the league. It's them and Buffalo. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win in the playoffs, but I think they're definitely one of those two teams.
And they did get the run game started last week, so that's a scary team that can run and pass at the same time, especially when it's raining out and Trevor Lawrence's big hands cannot hold on to a football. We'll save the Trevor Lawrence discourse for later. I may have called him a top 12 quarterback. Man, I don't know if I want to go into who wins the AFC South and why. I think we've already maybe cried a little bit too much about that. I think we got to talk about the Miami Buffalo situation. So interesting situation. Last Thursday night, Tua Tagovailoa exited the game with a concussion and is now ruled out officially this week. The Buffalo Bills, are they going to be at the top of the division, or is this Miami team going to still continue cooking with Teddy Bridgewater? Or is this all a fluke and the Miami Dolphins were playing pretender for 4 weeks and now are going to go back to their old ways?
I'll go. I think if anybody can come in and with Miami's system, I think Teddy's fine. He proved it. He came in Thursday night. I was at the game, played very, very well. One bad mistake cost them the game. I mean, they're in it the whole way. Even with Teddy coming in, they didn't look awful with Teddy in there. I mean, Teddy made the throws. I mean, he comes in, it's 3rd down and 20, and he throws a 19-yard strike. Makes it 4th and 1 just like that. Comes in, backup quarterback coming in, usually you run the ball, 3rd down long, you run it, just punt.
Unless you're Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. Let it come in, but Buffalo's offense and defense is just going to be too good, I think. I think Buffalo's going to win this division, but I think Miami has proven themselves through the first few weeks that they can and most likely will make the playoffs.
Yeah, my notes say Bills win the division, Miami's in the playoffs.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, if you have a backup QB, Teddy Bridgewater, it's a pretty good option off the bench. I mean, he did play well, but also remember, he had no snaps with them. He had no snaps with that offensive line. They weren't, or with anybody out there. They weren't expecting him to play. And he came in and did pretty well with no coaching background or practice, really. So, and that's tough. That's tough to do for any quarterback, even a veteran one. So I think Teddy's a safe pair of hands for the Dolphins. I think they'll be fine.
Luke, you in on Miami? You out?
Yeah. I'm iffy on them. I don't know. I think this Tua situation is like more of a distraction of anything to them. Yeah, dude, it's a toss up for me. Buffalo's gonna win. They're the division, but I think they'll sneak in there.
I also realized I'm wearing a Dolphins shirt right now, so I guess I'll have to say they're going to win a playoff game this year. Can we add that to my hot take record, actually?
Guilty by association. Dude, you got like 10 things on here. You had Frank Reich getting fired. I mean, you're telling me. Frank Reich is fired by tomorrow. Rishi last night. Currently, you're already 0-1 for the weekend. You're already down. You need to win.
Brother, it's 2-17. They might have slept in. You never know. But I don't know. I'm giving myself the win on that one. If you look at his approval rating right now, if I was a stock trader, I'd be shorting Frank Reich all day.
I mean, I've been saying it for a couple years, but nobody wanted to listen. Huncho, you got anything on the Dolphins?
Nothing new that's already been said, but I was just kind of still thinking about that press conference after that Bengals game with I forget the Dolphins head coach, the guy from
Mike McDaniel.
Yes. He seemed a little off to me. Like the vibe didn't seem like they were I guess really just I don't know how to say it, but like as concerned as they should be. It wasn't really a comfortable press conference. Obviously, it's never going to be one like that when a player gets hurt like that. But I don't know. They just seem like they're still figuring out things too, and too much to overcome. They have too much to overcome if they want to overtake Buffalo. Buffalo just feels like a machine, man. Like I don't know if they'll reach the Super Bowl this year, but they look really good right now.
I'm going to agree. I think the concerning fact is that we've not heard much about Tua. That's been kept very quiet. So I'm interested to see what ensues after this week with his injury status, and hopefully he's okay. That was a very scary hit that nobody wants to see, especially if you're a Dolphins fan. But hopefully he's all right. So I feel like we've kind of covered all of our bases here in the question section. Let's go to a new game, guys. I like to call this game Push or Plummet. You're going to pick a team, each one. Push means, you're looking at this team. You want them to, push all the chips to the center of the table, make a run for the playoffs, maybe make a trade, do some cool stuff, maybe pick up Odell Beckham Jr., do some fun stuff, make it to the playoffs. Plummet, you want this team to just dump their season. Just throw it by the wayside. Let's just go get a draft pick. Let's rebuild next year. Anyone can open up. I'm going to have you do your push, maybe explain it a little bit, and then pick your plummet at the same time, and then explain both of them, and then we'll all go through, and we might have some in kind of the common line. The Indianapolis Colts might end up in here. Maybe the Denver Broncos. Who knows? So whoever would like to open up. The floor is yours.
I'll start. Surprise, plummet. The Colts, they need a new QB, new draft pick. And with the push, I really didn't like them coming in here, but I think the Eagles, it's a winnable NFC. If they get home field for like a couple of games, you never know what can happen. Like if they can avoid injuries and just maintain how they've been playing. I don't know how their schedule is, but
they have currently the third easiest schedule remaining in the NFL by strength of schedule.
So if they can keep up their competitiveness and not just like take all these lesser teams too lightly, I like them as a sleeper in NFC.
I guess technically right now I can say the Chargers because they're not in the playoff picture. And I think this is a year where you have to make the playoffs or Brandon Staley losing his job.
I don't think Brandon Staley loses his job first. I believe it will come down to Joe Lombardi losing his job first because that man does not know how to call offense.
They have to make the playoffs this year, though. I mean, they're one of those teams we were talking about potentially making the Super Bowl. And so they're probably my push. Plummet, probably. Oh, okay. So I'll say the Broncos and the Raiders, and it's not necessarily because I think like they should tank because they need to get like the top quarterback or something. Like Russell Wilson is there for whatever 5 years, and I don't think the Raiders are going to move on from Derek Carr after this year necessarily. And I also think that the wild cards kind of already set in my mind. Like I'm taking Miami and Buffalo. Like whoever loses that division, I'll take them in the playoffs. Cincy and Baltimore, I think I'll take the loser in the playoffs, and then Kansas City and the Chargers, I'll take in the playoffs. So I don't know. Yeah, like I'm not gonna probably pick the Broncos or the Raiders to make the playoffs at this point.
Feels fair. Feels fair.
Yeah,
Luke, Adam, Dallas.
I guess
Adam?
I'll go next. So
Good.
both of mine are going to be NFC teams. I think my plummet is going to be Chicago Bears. You're 2-2. Throw it away. Stop trying to win games, please. Like go get a new quarterback because I don't believe in Justin Fields whatsoever. You need to take the Chicago Bears need to take. They really do. They just need more. They need more talent on their team. They're never going to do anything just grinding out these ugly wins. And I like they just don't have anything set in stone. Let the Lions finish above you. Let the Lions start getting some wins on the board, please. Like just something different. And my push is going to be an interesting one. You start 3-1. Nobody believes in you. And I think you gotta make some trades to take another step. The New York Giants starting 3-1. I think you guys got to take another step because you're right there. You are right there. You're with Dallas. You're with the Eagles. You can still do it. There's always hope. Daniel Jones is actually looking at a decent quarterback. I actually watched him. If you watched the I think it was the Giants Cowboys game last week on Monday Night Football. Daniel Jones played really, really well. His receivers just dropping passes. Like he was making great passes. For some reason, he is really good at running the ball. No idea why, but if you watch, he's silky. He gets past people. I don't know how he does it. It's a little awkward looking, and I think he uses the people trying not to hit quarterbacks because of the slide thing. I think he uses that a lot, but so do the rest of the quarterbacks. So, I think with Danny Dimes, I think you got to push for it this year. I think it would be. I mean, if you're 3-1 now, you're probably going to be in that middle area where nobody wants to be by the end of the season. You might as well push for it, especially since you got Saquon, who is having a really, really good year this year. You got some talent there. Maybe make a push for another. Some more defensive players, offensive players. Maybe upgrade your offensive line if you can. Just go for it. Why not? Go Giants.
That was not one I was expecting. So glad to hear that. Some good New York Giants discourse. Luke, you going yet?
Luke, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. Yeah. So for plummet, I got the Steelers. We kind of talked about it earlier. I think this season's a lost cause for them. Throw it away. They'll be good next year for sure, but this year's not the year. And this may surprise people. I got the Raiders for a push. They got their first win. I think that's all they needed. I think they beat Kansas City this week. I think they can be a contender.
Luke just revealed his hot take, I believe.
I got another one too.
Okay, Dallas, I'll let you go.
All right. My push will be from the AFC South, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe it's time to push. Everybody else in the division is looking very iffy right now. Obviously, the Texans are so bad. You don't even have to worry about them. But it's time to put all the chips in the basket and go in and win the division, make the playoffs, get Trevor some experience, help bolster that defense a little bit more, offensive line. Surprisingly, they have some weapons. I think they need one more receiver, get a little bit younger to pair with Kirk.
OBJ.
I mean,
anybody?
Signing OBJ would not be bad. And then for my plummet, I know Rishi isn't gonna like this, but I think the Lions should, and hear me out on this. I think they are a few pieces on defense away from winning that division. And I think if they plummet the rest of the year with a 1-3 start, grab a piece on defense and trade for somebody on defense, that they're going to be right at the top next year.
You're forgetting one thing. So in that Stafford trade, they got the Rams pick. So the Rams are going to be the first overall pick this year, and then the Lions can play to win.
That is true. That is true. The Rams, if they lose, will be like pick 4 or 5. There's going to be like the Texans and the Jets down there that, just continuously have bad picks. Colts might be like 4 or something. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So for my push, I've gone completely off the board. There's a 2-2 team that nobody's talked about yet. They're out of the NFC. They got a tough matchup this week. It's the Atlanta Falcons. I am all in on the Atlanta Falcons. They have currently been the best rush offense in the entire NFL. Mind you, they've been using the 34-year-old Cordell Patterson and will now be using Caleb Huntley and Tyler Algier. Just hear me out. They have run 15% of their plays out of pistol offense. That is unheard of. They are running with the quarterback more than anybody has heard of. And I think this is the best part. Their defense has been 16th in DVOA and EPA. They are slap in the middle. So I think they are going to be a sneaky NFC South pick. Carolina sucks. New Orleans is going to lose to the Seahawks. It's really just a toss-up between them and the Bucs, and I think they might get a sneaky win this week. That might be a hot take later on the show, but Atlanta's a sneaky team, guys. I hate the hate on them. Desmond Ridder has been sitting there just watching on the sidelines. Maybe he comes in a little later in the season. We get a little Ridder action. Pretty solid team. The plummet, that's felt tough, but I feel like the layup pick is the Texans. God, everyone else seems like they're somewhat decent, and you're like the only 0-3 team. Might as well as tank and just go get the first pick. You get your choice at quarterback. You can either have Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis. And if you don't want to go that way, you can go
not like the other.
You have Jared Goff next to Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. He's a top 5 quarterback. He's not even – you missed Josh Allen in this picture.
He didn't win the MVP. Keep going.
I think you have your choices. You got your decisions. Houston, just tank. Go get yourself a pick. So speaking of the NFL draft in the plummet section, we have our college football prospect watch. So we are going to pick. It's going to be a consensus. So we all have to agree. So we're going to vote. So bring your player to the table. You might have to argue for your player. You might not have to argue in some leagues. Tell us your player from offense and defense that you think we need to watch for, and we'll vote. And if your player wins, they win. So first off, we're starting off with the ever wonderful. How many memes do you have over there?
I think this is my last one.
Okay, so first we have the ACC. So we're going to pick an offensive player from the ACC and a defensive player from the ACC. We're going to let Dallas lead off since his favorite team is from the ACC. Dallas, who do you have for your ACC offensive player?
Just offense. We're going through just offense right now.
No, we're just gonna do offense and defense. But I just want you to tell us who you have, and we'll test the water and see how we feel about him.
Okay, on the offensive side, ACC. I was looking at this earlier. Not many names jumped out of the gym here, but there's a guy I have watched a few years now in a row that's played against Clemson. His name is A.T. Perry. He's a wide receiver from Wake Forest. He is 6'5", 205. He's got an extremely good build for the NFL to be a deep ball type jump, 50-50 ball type receiver. I very much like his game. He can run the underneath stuff just as well. So I think that he is my pick for the ACC offensive player. And nobody else really jumped out to me that is going to be better than him in the NFL draft from the ACC on the offensive side.
How do we feel about this, gentlemen? Yay, nay? I like him. He may have been on the list for players to pick for this division. He is He looks very pro-built. I'm not going to lie. He is. I hate saying it. He kind of looks like Megatron a little bit, like in the build. Like if you watch him, like he'll high point catches. It's pretty nice.
Pump the brakes there.
What? I can't put Megatron in a sentence anymore. I mean, goodness gracious.
You putting him in the conversation with Jerry Rice, Randy Moss.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Add that to the hot take record.
Are we in? Are we out? Are we in? Are we out? Or do we want a quarterback? Because I know quarterbacks are like liquid gold in this league. Which quarterback you picking, Rishi, if you're taking an ACC quarterback?
I think you already know the answer to this one. It's Keaton Slovis.
Sneaky pick, sneaky pick.
Imagine if Keaton Slovis still had Jordan Addison.
How do we feel about the Keaton Slovis?
I want to see. I want to see what the rest of them have to say here. I could be swayed to Slovis here, but I just want to see if we can, if it's 3-3 or what's the vote here, and we'll see.
Can I toss another name into this hat? I like May out of UNC. That guy is a baller, dude. He's a beast. He's a beast.
He's really good.
Yeah.
So I think we've now, unless Adam or Luke or David, do you guys have anybody to toss into this conversation?
I really like a receiver at Boston College, Zay Flowers, because my last name is Flowers too. So you just ultimately gravitate to anybody with your last name. But dude's been doing all right at Boston College. I haven't like watched too much of him, but I've seen enough. Like this dude's legit.
His name was in the ACC preseason All ACC. He was wide receiver number 2. So are we ready to vote? Adam, you got anybody?
I think you got to throw Miles Murphy in there. So watching the Colts defensive line be so bad makes me really appreciate the D linemen. So I got to throw him in there. He's a very good player. He stands out to me in that Clemson defense. So I think you got.
We also did miss out on Lamar Jackson 2.0, Malik Cunningham. If anybody's got him on your list. Nope. Okay. So what's the vote here, gentlemen? Where are we going with the pick? I'm in the Keaton Slovis boat. I'm gonna say.
I like the guy
gave you guys
UNC.
I almost gave you guys Drake May a vote.
Oh, Drake May. Oh, sneaky Drake May. Man, I'm flipping back. Rishi's in on Drake May. I'm in on Drake May too.
That.
We in on May. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I'll
agree with him. If you want to put him in there on the offensive side for sure.
Picked a good player, guys. Picked a good player. And then who did you have for defense? Because Adam, you had a defender. What was his name?
Miles Murphy.
Miles Murphy.
I think this could be a consensus pick. I also have Miles Murphy. He is the best defender in the ACC, and the second best defender in the ACC is also on Clemson and Brian Bresee. So either way you go, it's going to be a Clemson player, but I like Miles Murphy just a little bit more for the NFL side.
I'm in on Miles Murphy. I saw his. I actually watched his tape today. In preparation for the show. Dude's a beast. I don't even know who to compare him to in the NFL, but if the right team gets him, I might be scared a little bit. We all in on Miles Murphy here? I see 5. It's been consensus so far, guys. This is great. Now we are on to possibly the biggest pain point for all of us, the SEC, the greatest conference in college football, as some may know it to be. Who do we have for the SEC defense? We're going to open up with the defense. I know my pick, but I want to hear from you guys.
Ole Miss looked pretty good against Kentucky the other day against Levis. I was like, okay, I'm not entirely expecting that, but all right.
David, we aren't allowed to talk about that game here. No bad Kentucky will ever be talked about on this show as long as I am in charge. No negatives. No negatives. All positives.
Lesson learned. All right, Will Levis, man.
Yes, Will Levis, man. I'm just kidding. It's fine for him. He broke his finger. I mean, it was a bad game. Oh well. But for the defensive side, my pick is Keely Ringo out of Georgia. Cornerback, big, physical, just looks like he's ready to play in the NFL already. I mean, he's just picking off dudes already. He's my pick personally.
I was in between two guys here. First, I had Keely Ringo on there, but there's an obvious other pick, and it's Will Anderson. And I was really 50-50 on it, and I still am 50-50 on it. But when you look at Will Anderson and what he did last year, I mean, it's like Micah Parsons.
Dude's a monster.
He's like Micah Parsons. And you find the right spot for him to play, he's going to tear up the NFL. I think Ringo is going to be a very good corner in the NFL as well. I think Surtain is very good. I'm not comparing him to Surtain, but I think he can be a little bit less effective than Surtain. I think Surtain's going to be one of the top corners in the league, one or two in a few years, if not now already. So I think Keely Ringo is one step down from there, but that's still a very good corner in the league. So I want to see what everybody else has. I can be swayed either way. It's 50-50 for me.
I might be in on the. I forgot about Will Anderson. How did he slip my mind? I'm in on Will Anderson. Dude's a monster.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick. He's insane.
Yeah, Rishi, one off the board here.
I'm going with Ringo.
Rishi's following trends over here. I'm in on Will Anderson. It seems like it's 4-2 currently. Unless David, are you in on Will Anderson or Ringo?
Anderson, I think the rush always beats like cornerback. Well, I like Ringo though, but I just think like maybe Ringo has a decent NFL career, but it's Anderson for me.
All right, so Will Anderson it is, and now we're on to our favorite part, the offense. Who do we have from the SEC offense here?
Get it out of the way, Alex.
Yeah, I was going to say, go first, go.
Josh Allen 2.0, Will Levis, baby. Run and gun. You want a big boy who's just going to run in those trenches, who benches 600 pounds, get yourself a beast in Will Levis. I kind of hope he doesn't go to Carolina because Carolina will ruin him. I'm on the Commanders bandwagon though. If he went to the Commanders, big arm, good targets. I could even be swayed into like a Seattle pick. Seattle would be pretty solid, but Will Levis is my vote. I know I'm not going to get Will Levis, but anybody else?
Anybody gonna take it? Is anybody gonna say Bryce Young?
I'll do it. I'll go Bryce Young. Future Colts quarterback.
No.
Future Colts quarterback. I'd love it.
I'm going to argue. I told you guys before the show, this is the one pick I can't stand. I cannot stand him. He's 186 pounds and 6'1". He is not built to play in the NFL. He has not. He just has never jumped off the page to me. I thought Hurts was better. I thought Tagovailoa was better. I thought both those guys were 10 times better than Young. But somehow Young just keeps getting all this hype. I think CJ Stroud and Will Levis are honestly, if you gave me a franchise tomorrow and you went in the future 5 years, I think those two would be bigger stars than Bryce Young will be.
Well, I mean, Kyler Murray was also apparently not built for the NFL.
Oh, he's terrible.
So, Kyler Murray's not terrible. Come on. You can't say that and then watch Matt Ryan and Russell Wilson throw the ball right now. You can't say he's terrible.
He literally won the game running around in the pocket for 20 seconds. I mean, how many quarterbacks can do that? I mean, he's not a game winner. He's not a game manager. He's too busy playing Call of Duty. I mean, dude, Call of Duty comes out in a few weeks.
It does.
I mean, he's in trouble.
No, but he's not bad. Come on now.
He's not good though. If you put him in the Colts offense, tell me I think Matt Ryan still would have done better compared to putting Kyler Murray in.
It doesn't matter what quarterback you put in the Colts offense, they'll all suck. If you put Patrick Mahomes in the Colts offense, the Colts would suck.
No, Patrick Mahomes would.
Patrick
Mahomes would handle it. Patrick Mahomes would handle it. I think that
he might have enough weapons.
I think Kyler's overrated. Overrated.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's like a top 5 quarterback, but he's above average. Like you got to say that he's not one of the worst.
Is better, honestly. I mean,
is he a max quarterback?
No, absolutely not. I don't know why they gave him so much money. No, I think he's good. I think he'll never be the best quarterback in the league, but he's not bad. I mean that's crazy talk. Like. You see Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield, Matt Ryan right now, and you say that would you say he's on par with them? That bad?
The Baker Mayfield's tough. I think Baker Mayfield is literally the worst quarterback in the NFL. Like it's Justin Fields and then Baker Mayfield. Like those two are honestly in the biggest dogfight for, wow, we overpicked on these guys. Sam Darnold's in like a close third if he ever actually plays. I never liked him. I've never liked how he plays. He's too short.
Daniel Jones better
this season. It's tough. I'm 50-50 on if I would take Daniel Jones or Kyler Murray.
One of them didn't get his 5th-year option picked up or whatever, and Kyler Murray got a max contract.
I'm just saying. Like, how many times have we said Arizona's going to be good and they blow up in our faces? I think the last year we said Arizona was going to win so many games and they got absolutely curb stomped by bad teams.
Okay, this is the last question I'll ask you, and your answer will depend on if I say another word. Is he better than Carson Wentz right now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We can agree on something.
I would have taken Carson Wentz last night, though, because I don't know. He would have fumbled probably more than Matt Ryan, but Carson Wentz is also fighting for like 5th worst quarterback in the NFL. Like the bottom of my list.
Yeah.
Let me get a sick transition in here. Much like Cliff Kingsbury, let's get back to college football.
There we go.
That is fair. I am in agreement with Rishi.
Yes, I'm agreeing.
Bryce Young is, to me, is one more year away from being ready for the NFL. Realistically.
He's declaring this year, whether we like it or not.
With the quarterback. So the guy I really like out of Georgia is their tight end, Bowers. I just remember, I think he could be like one of the next Kelsey or Kittles. He's a monster down the field for Bennett in Georgia. But yeah, I just want to throw like a little curveball in there instead of a quarterback.
I like Bowers. I just unfortunately think that the quarterback position has been so diluted in value that like quarterbacks are worth like this much while like a tight end's worth like this much. So maybe next show we're going to do a quarterback tier list so I can unleash all my problems. We're going to have to create that like tier thing and we're just going to screen share it. And I'm just going to argue about how bad quarterbacks are. So are we all in on Bryce Young? I kind of feel like that's where the room has moved to.
Oh, actually, I forgot. I was gonna say, pouring one out for Austin Anderson here. I'll give Spencer Rattler a vote. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God, he is going to get absolutely demolished by Kentucky this week. Demolished.
I'm pretty sure he has more picks than touchdowns.
I think they put in their backup last week. I think Luke Doty came in and played a little bit because he was playing so bad.
And that's why he's getting my vote for stepping down and letting the backup.
Yeah, he wanted to let the backup play. He was like, "Go in, bud. You're doing good."
He's good.
So
are
we all in on Bryce
Young?
Are we all in on Bryce Young? It's not going to hurt my feelings that Will Levis isn't on here.
I think it's got to be.
I'm in on Bryce Young. We're gonna run it to Bryce Young. This division, I'm not gonna lie, I really have no pertaining interest to this division. Does the Big Ten, do we need to pick an offensive player? Because I don't know anyone other than like CJ Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like those are the only two guys I think we can argue for. Outside that, I don't look at any other team and I'm like, wow, they're other than Michigan, like those Ohio State and Michigan are about the only two teams worth watching this season in the Big Ten.
You're being
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr. over Smith and Jigba?
No, I'm throwing around, but I like him, man.
I think Harrison Jr. is going to need another year. I think he needs to wait because if he's in this wide receiver class, I think he might get bumped down a little bit.
He'll stay another year, be the guy, even though Smith and Jigba has been out a few weeks now. But it's definitely Stroud or Smith and Jigba, and it's really not even close on the Big Ten side.
I'm going Stroud. I just like him as a quarterback.
My vote's going to Blake Corum. He's going to win the Heisman.
You're like Austin with Spencer Rattler. You can't get off Michigan, man.
Add it to the hot take record.
Oh, dude, your hot take record is like it's like 3 sentences.
Some of these though, you got to give me a few points if they hit. Like if Blake Corum hits, like
if they hit, I'm gonna give you the show at that point. I mean, if they hit, I'm probably gonna like have to buy a Blake Corum jersey or something and like eat my words. I'm surprised you didn't put JJ.
I gotta mention Aiden O'Connell. I just gotta mention his name. I got to. Okay.
I'm gonna have to turn the show off. I knew it. I shouldn't have even put the Big Ten on here. This division just not even worth talking about.
It's like 500 yards every game.
Yo, I'm coming in with Cam Camper. Cam Camper, IU.
He's
Cam Camper.
Cam Camper's a good player. You gotta give him some props. He's a good player on the IU side.
Is he IU's only good player?
Pretty much.
You get Matthews, close second, but after that, nope.
I just want to see IU play Michigan this week. That's all that matters in my world. Rishi, are you smashing the over on that game?
On which one? IU Michigan?
Yes.
I don't know what the line's at.
I can't imagine it's probably like, I think it's got to be at least 50 and a half. It's got to be 50 and a half.
You know what I'll smash the over on is Blake Corum rushing line. That's what I'll smash the over on.
Okay.
The line is Michigan minus 22.5 and over under 59.5.
Yeah, 59.5. That's a lot bigger than I thought. So I've decided to slim this down. We're just going to go with the Big Ten offense because I don't know anybody on defense. And then we're just going to get rid of the Big 12. We're just not going to act like they're a conference. So Big Ten offense, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison, and CJ Stroud, including Cam Camper, Aiden O'Connell, and Blake Corum. Where are our votes going to?
Stroud.
I'm going to Cam.
CJ Stroud. It's 2-2.
I'll go with CJ.
And I'll put 2 votes in for Blake Corum.
So hey, I got a roll, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. And go IU and Cam Camper for Heisman or number 1 first round pick.
Glad to have you. See you next. Well, okay. He's gone. All right. We're just going to go to Pac-12 offense. I believe everybody's got the same answer here. It is
Jordan.
Agreements. The Colts need to draft him. We need a wide receiver.
Megatron, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Jordan Addison.
just pencil them in already. All righty. So we finally got off football. We are now on to the MLB Wild Card. Currently, the Rays have lost game 1 of a 3-game series to the Cleveland Guardians, and it is right now the top of the 3rd in the Philadelphia St. Louis game, 0-0. So all these games do play this week. As I just said, Rays, Guardians, Phillies, Cardinals, Mariners, Blue Jays, and Mets, Padres all play in a 3-game series to decide who goes on to the NL and AL division rounds. Alrighty, guys. This is my favorite part. Pick your World Series teams. We're 1 game into the playoff. We're 2 games into the playoffs. Pick your World Series teams. All right, crickets.
You want me to start us out, or you, Luke?
You can go. We've had this conversation like 15 times already.
All right. My World Series is Houston, Atlanta.
Yep. Analytics say that Houston, Atlanta is the highest percentage. It is at 16.5 for Houston and 14.2 for Atlanta. Those are the 2 highest probability teams to make the World Series, just if anyone's wondering. Anyone like to go next? Luke?
I also have Atlanta, but I think the Yankees get there this year.
Oh my God.
I think it just makes sense. It's too special of a season for them not to get to the World Series.
Perma band. Rishi, analytics master.
No, I don't follow baseball analytics like that, but I want to root for the Mets because I'm a Max Scherzer guy, but I'm taking the Cardinals and the Astros, although I do think the Cardinals got some tough matchups because they got to beat the Phillies and then the Braves, but that's what I'm going with.
Houston versus the Cardinals. Houston versus St. Louis.
Yep.
All right. Adam.
You know what? I'm gonna go a little off the wall here. Dodgers, Blue Jays. Okay. And do I have anything to back that? No.
Blue Jays.
We're just gonna circle back to Adams after the divisional series, and just we'll circle the wagon on that one and just let everyone know. We may be making picks each week because how bad this is. So everybody went with there's some very sound picks. You know, I feel like we need to go spicy here. I'm going with the team who currently has the smallest odds to make the World Series, the Cleveland Guardians facing the Atlanta Braves. I don't know what it is about those Guardians, but man, they're just good. They're just good. They got the most rookies called up to the MLB this year with the most minutes. I mean, they're just monsters. That might just be my pick because they won game 1 too. That doesn't matter. We are finally on to the hot takes. The hot takes last week did not go swimmingly. I'm going to be honest. I had Northwestern beating Penn State. Close game, but they lost. I had the Bailey Zappi-led New England Patriots beating the Green Bay Packers. Close, no cigar. Dallas was the only one who got a correct pick in Purdue beating Minnesota, even though that game kind of felt like a layup. And Adam unfortunately picked the wrong week to pick the Colts' lowest scoring game by points. We'll just roll that one over to this week at this point. I mean,
just move that over.
All righty. So Rishi's been the man who's fired off a million futures hot takes. But Rishi, what do you have for this week?
So for this week, I'm already crowning myself with the most creative pick. I don't know how I thought of this, but you guys, have you ever heard of the FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Week?
Yes.
I've got my pick for the FedEx Air Player of the Week next week, and it's none other than Bailey Zappi. Going to win the Air Player of the Week next week.
Okay.
Don't ask me how I came up with that.
Did you watch some like insightful TikTok where they're like on December 6th?
You want me to know what? So this is why I actually I didn't watch much of that Packers Patriots game, but what I did see afterwards was Twitter couldn't stop talking about Bailey Zappi, and so I was like, all right, he's got to be all right. And then if you watched last week's Lions game, defense isn't exactly their strong suit right now, so that's what led me to it.
I mean, it's like a bad bar that doesn't ID people. That's what their end zone was like. Things went in and nothing got stopped going in either. So it's fair. It's fair. We're gonna put the pressure on you, Luke. Give us your hot take.
Give me Washington State over USC at the Coliseum.
Oh boy,
Dallas
might.
I like to pick Luke. Washington State let me down a few weeks ago, so.
Oregon?
Yep.
Hey, well, they'll take care of it this week.
All right, we're on to Adam. Adam, redeem yourself from last week.
So close. But okay. I got you on this week. I got you on. Mine are always extremely specific and extremely unlikely. We're gonna have a double. We're gonna have a parlay here. Giants are beating the Packers. And Barkley hat trick, 3 touchdowns.
I'm not going to lie. I looked at that game and kind of said the same thing, but I didn't take that game because my Daniel Jones instinct kicked in and said, no, Alex, you're not allowed to take Daniel Jones.
And Daniel Jones is going to start. They just
All right.
confirmed that.
Dallas, let's go.
All right. I've been looking around. Nobody's picked little MLB, so I'm going to go to the Mlb Playoff side. There will be 2 games played in the divisional round by the time we get to the show next week, and the Cleveland Guardians will be up 2-0 on the Yankees by next week. That is my hot take. I threw up a layup last week with Purdue beating Minnesota, so I got to get a little something steamy, and that is up there.
Okay, guys, I'm very bad at picking stuff. And I actually thought I planned out this week what I was going to do. And I told Dallas I had planned it out, and I have completely forgotten. So as last minute as I am, let's just go to the NFL schedule for this week and let's pop some games in. I have to pick the game I said earlier. Atlanta beats the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And to follow on Dallas's suit in the MLB, I have that the Astros will be down 2 games to the Seattle Mariners. Anybody have any future? Luke, you said you had a futures hot take earlier. What is it?
I have no idea. I forgot. Did I say that?
You did say you had a futures. I laughed back because I didn't write it down. Rishi, you got another one for me?
I don't know. I mean, I might have emptied the clip.
Bailey Zappi for MVP.
Was it the Raiders?
Oh yeah, Luke, was it the Raiders?
Yeah, it was the Raiders.
Oh no, I thought that was your hot take.
No, it was Luke's. No, he said Washington beats USC. Raiders make playoffs. All righty, guys. It has been a great show. Unfortunately, we did lose Huncho. I wish I was trying to figure out what he was going to say, but it's been a great show. We're glad to have you guys next week. Honestly, I'm thinking about the quarterback tier ranking. We might have to make that a show. I think that one would be fun. So long as the world of sports doesn't explode. We'll be back with you guys next week. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Awesome job, guys. Thanks for you.